Tonight, today, all day, we've got a great show for you on this Thursday and morning, including an all-day exclusive chat with a special guest you can only see here. But let's kick it off with Pop Start.
The Tokyo Games are set to start next month, so you know all the top athletes are busy getting ready for the USA team trials, which are coming up in just a couple of weeks. But in a series of new promos, it looks like training for some of the athletes is getting interrupted by everybody's favorite little yellow guys. Here's an exclusive first look.
What does it take to be the best? The laps at dawn? The thousands of hours in the pool? Wait, what? Nice.
Why just live up to people's expectations when you can defy them? Why justify them when?
Pero mention autograph.
Swimmer Caleb Dressel and Simone Biles taking a little break from training with the Minions. And you can see how all that hard work pays off at the U.S. team trials beginning this Saturday. And, of course, don't forget to tune in to the Tokyo Olympics kicking off July 23rd right here on NBC and across the platforms of NBC as well. And finally, Ryan Reynolds, the actor and father of three, also has his very own brand of gin. And for Father's Day, Reynolds is whipping up a cocktail that celebrates all the joys of fatherhood in one particular drink that he calls the vasectomy. Sorry, but here's how to make it.
Tall glass with ice. The way children fill our lives with so much joy. Next, pour 1 ounce of cranberry juice. Sweet, just like their little smiles. Then, pour 3 ounces of tonic. So bubbly, just like I feel every day I wake up after a long, full night's sleep. Finally, we're going to add 1.5 ounces of Aviation American Gin, the world's highest rated gin for the world's highest rated job. Dad. Now that is as refreshing as fatherhood. Well, something I call the vasectomy for no reason at all. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
There you go.
Listen, he grabbed our attention.
Ryan Reynolds is selling vasectomy drink kits on the Aviation Gin website. Something to keep in mind if you're still shopping for Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, guys.
You can probably swap it out for bourbon as well.
Right.
Yeah, just as effective.
Or grain alcohol.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or shots.
Welcome back. Today on the third hour, Dylan is live at Universal Orlando Resort for the grand opening of the new Jurassic Park ride, the Velocicoaster. Check it out.
Let's head up Florida's Turnpike to another popular travel destination. Dylan joining us live at Universal Orlando Resort for the grand opening of the Velocicoaster. Dylan, how's it back at Universal for the big opening?
I will say this is the most normal thing I've felt since I've been out. It's actually the first time I've been on an airplane in I can't even remember how long. But to see the crowds here, and you know, the first thing you see when you walk in is if you're fully vaccinated, you have every right to take off your mask and just kind of do whatever you want to do. But they do ask if you have not been vaccinated to wear your mask. So you see a mix of people wearing masks, not wearing masks all around. There's hand sanitizing stations all over the place. There's a lot of, you know, just use your phone to pay for things, you know, so you don't have to interact or hand over money or hand over your credit card. So just like the precautions we see everywhere we go nowadays, it just sort of has become normal, and you kind of see it here around the park. But to see the excitement, to hear the screams from a roller coaster, to see just the lines for people waiting for this ride to open up, it's really just been spectacular to be back here, and it is the most normal thing I've done in quite some time.
I have FOMO. It looks like a beautiful day there. We saw you made a couple of friends while you were there a little earlier this morning. Who do you have with you now?
You know, well, it just so happens I happen to be pregnant again, so I have to sit out another roller coaster. I mean, I love roller coasters. So Carrie Sanders, Kenan Thompson, Jenny, they took my place. Guys, what did you think of the ride?
Well, first of all, Kenan and I were holding hands on the ride.
We're joined.
You know,
the union.
It's funny. What did I think of the ride? Well, I'll go with you first. What did you think?
I loved it. I think it's exhilarating. You know, I think it's, you know, for all ages, but it really does feel like it is trying to throw you out of there. It is
and you were letting go.
Like you actually floated out of your seat.
Like a few times.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to when you're done being preggo over there and can get on the ride.
So I'm out of my seat, and the funny thing is, and this is like a psychological thing, waiting to go on the ride and understanding a little bit about it and looking up and seeing it, little anxiety. And, you know, I will try anything. Yeah. And then you do it, you're like, wow, that was great, exhilarating.
Now, okay, you say that, but then the ride stops. You guys basically had keys to the park yesterday, and Kenan's like, let's do it again. That's
right.
So then how are you feeling?
Exhausted. Well, it's kind of funny. It does take something out of you.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like, what is happening with it? But no, it's good. It's good times.
I was very happy, and I thank him for saying let's do it again, because I probably would have gotten off second time. You know what? I started looking down the track, and I saw a little bit more of what might be coming.
Look at that. Look at those two dudes having fun right there. Wow. Come on.
I love
best friends.
Oh, my God. I'm watching this really for the first time, and I'm kind of blown away. Is there more smiles than I think or not?
Oh, man.
Yes, that moment there. That is a heck of a moment.
The wind flying through those dad jokes.
Right.
I love it.
And then here, let's see where we are. Well, at one point, we dropped 155 feet. So dropping 155 feet with gravity is an experience.
Oh, my goodness. And I love, Dylan, we love the fact that you put your mom on the coaster with them as well as your stand-in.
Well, that's what was she lives not that far from here, so she came over yesterday just to meet me for lunch, and I said, do you want to ride the ride? She's like, oh, that's interesting. Not thinking I had actually set it up. So she joined them on the ride, and then the second time around, nobody else got off the ride. She's like, well, I couldn't be the only one to get off. So after she rode it twice, she was like, they got off the ride first. I'm like, my mom is with you, right? She's alive and well.
She's like,
where's mom? I did not get my bravery. I don't have any bravery inherited from her.
That's so funny.
That's great. Well, guys,
a lot of courage and a lot of gumption, and boom.
Okay, it's time for Overheard on Third. This morning, we're still waiting on a photo for of Harry and Meghan's new baby girl.
Lilibet.
That's right. But, of course, there is a controversy brewing. The couple is accusing the BBC of libel over a report claiming the new parents had named their daughter Lilibet without asking the Queen before the birth. Well, in a statement, a spokesman for the Sussexes told NBC News that Harry had, in fact, called his grandmother the Queen before the announcement and said they would not have used the name had the Queen not been supportive.
It really bothers me that this is a story. I mean, it's I was always saying, babies and puppies. You leave babies and puppies alone.
Absolutely.
And for me, especially babies. Like, what does this little bit? Her name is Lilibet. She's named after her grandmother. Like, that's full stop.
And by the way, did the BBC not learn anything after they booted and screwed up the and all the things they did with that Diana interview? So let's double down and let's go after her grandmother, her grandchild. Crazy. Anyway, Buckingham Palace declined to comment. The BBC did not respond because they're just so embarrassed.
Well, I will say we had a conversation this morning on, what did you just say?
I don't know.
We had a phone conversation this morning. We were all talking about this. And, the question is, if you name someone, what's the verbiage?
In other words, if you are going to name your child after somebody,
correct,
do you let them know beforehand?
Not necessarily.
I don't think so.
I named Clara Josephine. Clara is my husband's grandmother, and Josephine is my grandmother. I called her after she was born and said, guess what?
Come on.
Granted, my grandmother's like, so wait, Josephine's not first? She's like, is anybody going to call her Clara Josephine?
I think everybody looks at it as kind of an honor.
I think so, too. So we have spoken.
All right.
Third hour today.
That's right. And if the BBC would like to call, we don't want to hear from you. Are you planning a summer vacation? Experts say it's a great idea, especially this summer after such a challenging year. But in an article in Psychology Today, they say go ahead with the vacation, but maybe don't plan anything.
I think this is so important.
Brilliant.
Just yesterday, I'm at the last soccer practice, and every single, what are you doing this summer? Oh, this camp this week, then that week, and then we're going to go here. Everything is planned to the second. And I feel like during the pandemic, part of the reason why it was so wonderful is because we didn't have anything planned.
See, I'm obviously a little older than you.
Yes.
When we were coming up, there were no plans. What you looked up forward to for summer was nothing.
I agree.
You just had months of nothing.
Yeah.
Just going out, hanging with your friends.
Going outside.
Riding your bike.
Catching light bugs.
Just
what do you call them? Lightning bugs. What did I say? Light bugs?
Light bugs.
Light bugs. Catching lightning bugs, and the other highlight of my life, when it would rain and the water would collect in the gutter, collecting worms.
Maybe you should have planned a little more.
I'm just being honest. I would put it in a little mason jar, and then I would go get grass. and I'd put the grass in it and let it.
I have to think that there was more to do in Kansas than that.
I had quite the delightful childhood.
Except for the worms. The worms are going, let us out! Let me out!
Then I'd see the next morning if they were still moving.
Coming up on Hoda and Jenna, Willie Geist is here. So, Willie, first of all, what's been going on? I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter graduated from 8th grade yesterday, which doesn't sound like much. You go 8th grade graduation, but there was something about these little, well, I think they're little kids, because they've known each other since they were in kindergarten, and they've grown up together, and then they walked out yesterday, boys and girls included, and all of a sudden they were young men and women, and they were so tall, and the girls were so beautiful, dressed up, and it was, I think, more of a moment than I was expecting it to be, you know?
Did you get kind of teary?
Of course, yeah, it's been that kind of week.
I remember my 8th grade graduation because my grandmother, Barbara, spoke at it.
Oh, wow.
And it was the summer of Pulp Fiction. Barbara and I, my sister Barbara and I were obsessed with Pulp Fiction, and my grandmother kind of couldn't believe that we were allowed in 8th grade to see that film.
Right, that's intense.
And so there was the whole speech was about really Pulp Fiction.
Was it really?
If you ever would have thought Barbara Bush would have gone there, she did.
That's got to be in like the Library of Congress somewhere, that speech.
Like,
that's
congratulations to Lucy.
We're very excited. Congratulations to you. This is a huge deal, okay? Jenna and Hoda just won a Gracie Award. What is a Gracie Award? It's an award show by women for women honoring achievement in TV, radio, and digital media. Basically, it's the best of the best.
Oh.
And Jenna and Hoda won for on-air talent in the lifestyle entertainment category.
I know, we're
Isn't
so
that cool?
excited. I need to call Hoda, but yeah, I think it's really great. I called my parents and they were like, what? I was like, a Gracie. They were like, oh. And then everybody at work was like, no, people in our industry know that it's cool.
It's a
just because your parents don't doesn't
it's
mean
a big
thing.
deal and well-deserved, and it hasn't been easy, I know, to put on these shows for you and your awesome staff for the last year and a half.
The staff is who we dedicate it all to,
Tribute
for sure.
to them.
Willie and I have an exclusive chat you can only see here on Today All Day. Welcome back to Today Talks, and our exclusive content you can only see here on Today All Day. We are talking with Williegeist, my co-host, about Zoom.
Yes, Zoom.
The doom of Zoom.
I think there's some complaining that's going to happen about Zoom. Before we complain, let's say Zoom and other programs like it made the last year and a half possible.
Yes.
Right? I mean, work, school. So let's thank it first.
Yes.
And now we can say,
you're right.
It's
we shouldn't
been a
just
long
dump on Zoom without saying thank you for everything you've given us.
It's why we could do our jobs.
Like
it's why our kids could go to school.
Yes,
exactly.
We thank you, Zoom, and now we would like to roast you. Because there was an article in the Wall Street Journal. It's not just us, okay,
No.
Willie? A lot of people are saying that folks are so over Zoom hangs. They're tired of the virtual parties, the happy hours, the coffee dates. And now that you can, many of us are vaccinated, you can get together and have in-person hangs. Why would you just get on Zoom to chat with your family?
That's the thing. Now that there's an alternative, I don't think people want to be in there. But think back to last March of 2020 and April and May. You were so grateful to see your parents or your sister or your brother or
Although
your friends.
I will say, so we created a family Zoom on Sundays with my huge extended family, and my dad didn't quite understand the concept that he wasn't muted. So he'd be like, what'd she say? Like, each family would talk about their thing. He'd be like, did she just say that? And I was like, Barbara, Dad is not muted. Like, we can hear him.
I can picture all
on
of it.
all the comments.
My cousin, Herbie,
Herb,
Uncle Herb. Uncle Herb's son, Herbie.
Oh, I didn't know that Uncle Herb had a son
There's
named
a
Herbie.
next-gen Herb.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole other conversation, Uncle Herb. He got married on Zoom a few weeks ago, and it was that exactly. It was like 60 people, and people didn't know how to mute, and we had to just get everybody settled before we could go on. I think part of it, too, is people are just frustrated with the technology glitches sometimes. I was interviewing for my Sunday show a few weeks ago, Kevin Hart.
Yes.
He's shooting a movie in Budapest, so we did it over Zoom. And by the end of it, I must have been my Wi-Fi went down, and he was answering a question, and I heard later on the tape, he kept talking. I was gone. Because it dropped out. He kept talking for like 3 minutes after, and he must have been like, wow, Willie's not even acknowledging the things I'm saying. And then when he stopped, he said, God, I guess I talked too long. Willie just left. And he started laughing.
Are you going to put that in the piece?
It didn't make it in. It's on the podcast, the Sunday Sit Down podcast.
Oh, everybody loves that podcast. Can I just say something, though? There are a couple things that I want to thank Zoom for. parent-teacher conferences.
Yes.
In fact, I don't think next year, I think Zoom will always be for parent-teacher conferences.
Think so?
Yes, because you can do it in the comfort of your own home or your office.
That's true.
People don't have to miss work to do a parent-teacher conference, and it keeps you on schedule.
That's true.
So that's one thing. Also, back-to-school nights.
Don't you want to be in the little chair?
How does it feel for you to sit in that little chair?
Well, now that they're in middle school, the tables have gotten a little bigger.
Have they?
But from kindergarten, the kindergarten classes.
I mean, can you imagine Hank Hager, my husband, 6'4",
He's a big man.
sitting down in that little chair?
He's a big man. But I also think that's sort of a little rite of passage. You go sit in the little chair, you see your teacher,
I agree,
you see
but
the
I'm
other
okay
parents.
if those stay on Zoom. You know what? Call me whatever you want to call me. Call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm okay to just keep those on time.
Yeah, that's true. You've got
what I mean?
you've got your 20-minute window. Boom, we got to dump off and go to the next person.
Yeah,
But
okay.
let's end our conversation where it began. Thank you, Zoom, for making life possible. But now it might be time to say farewell.
I feel like this is a Zoom funeral.
It is.
Is it?
Pour one out.
Goodbye,
for
Zoom. For our lost homie, Zoom. All right, that's it for this episode of Today Talks. Keep watching for more Today All Day.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.